With their independence, curiosity, and affection, cats have been celebrated in art across cultures, praised in classic literature, and are constantly going viral. They have won over humans for centuries and have solidified their spot in our society.
You don't have to walk them. They're very self-sufficient.
They've got their own personality.
They have an innate sense of where we're at. They sort of can shift gears and be a great source of comfort.
They have a sense of autonomy, who they are, what they want to do.
From farms to hotels, breweries to bedrooms, cats have made themselves at home next to humans since the very beginning. Around 10,000 years ago, when the first humans settled down, they attracted mice. The mice in turn attracted cats, and a beautiful relationship was born. The cats enjoyed their prey and the humans enjoyed the pest control. As time went on, cats were not only appreciated for their work ethic, but for their intelligence and poise. The Egyptians celebrated the animals by decorating them in jewels and mummifying them after their death, even believing that cats were vessels for their goddess Bastet. Similar views were held in ancient China and Japan, with the image of the beckoning cat representing the goddess of mercy. And when humans started to explore the globe, cats came along.
Almost every ship back then had at least one cat, if not more, because the cats were needed to control the rats on the ships. And most of those cats actually came from European countries and Asia and the Caribbean and just from all over.
In the US, as cities continued to grow, cats adapted to new workplaces.
Most places of business, be it a hotel, a theater, a warehouse, a firehouse, a police station, during the 1800s, early 1900s, they had cats. And they needed the cats to control the mice and the rats. The original New York City post office was down on Liberty and Nassau Street. The rats were very attracted to the glue on the letters and the packages, and so the post office needed the cats to protect the mail. The federal post office, actually the federal government, had a budget. And for New York City, it was $60 a year to take care of all the cats, to feed them. By 1900 or so, there were approximately 100 cats working in the post office. There were the first-class cats. They worked on the top floor of the building. Down in the basement, you had your second-class cats. It got a little crazy, though. Sometimes there would be too many cats because, again, there was no neutering. And so what the men would do, they would take the cats and put them in the mail bags, in the mail sacks, and mail the cats off to other post offices throughout the boroughs that were maybe in need of a few more good cats. Sometimes they would put an ad in the paper and inviting the public to come and adopt the first-class cats. And the people would come, and everybody wanted to have a post office cat. That was like, that was something to be proud of if you could adopt a post office cat. So that's kind of how they kept that population in check.
While cats have a long history working with humans, today more and more businesses are employing these felines, finding the benefit of their expertise and their companionship.
I laughed today because, New York City now, we just hired a woman who's the city's rat czar. And I sent a little note to Mayor Adams on Twitter or something, and I said, we don't need a rat czar. What we need to do is do what we did 100 years ago and just have all of these places of business hire cats again, and that'll solve the problem.
Businesses across the tri-state have come to the same conclusion. From a Home Depot in New Jersey to hotels in Connecticut and corner store bodegas throughout New York City, cats have become trustworthy employees and local celebrities.
Mainly it's rodent control in bodegas, but now I think they've kind of evolved to more than that, more of like a cultural icon, like a cultural staple in New York City.
Dan is a local artist and the founder of the Instagram account Bodega Cats of New York, which celebrates the animals through artwork.
I used to live in Fort Greene, and there was a bodega cat there off Myrtle Avenue, and his name was Harry, and I loved that cat. And I would go out of my way all the time to go visit that bodega specifically, to go see Harry, and I would pet him every time. And I did an illustration for the owner of that bodega. He liked it so much that he hung it behind the register, and a lot of people kept asking about it. That kind of inspired this whole idea, and it kind of triggered the idea that bodega cats have become this cultural institution in New York City. I think we're just commemorating them, and we're solidifying their importance in New York City through artwork.
Tiger is employed at a bodega in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, where he has gained a fast following.
A cat like Tiger, he's so calm and he's so mellow that you kind of just stop in for a second and you pet the cat and you just slow your entire life down just for a few moments. And I don't know if there's any other cities that have such a high energy like New York City. So just seeing something as like simple as like a bodega cat, just capturing a little zen moment, I think is a big deal for a lot of New Yorkers.
He's a very cool cat, everyone comes, pets him, and he's like very calm. He just sits there and chills all day.
Tiger is so sweet. He just sleeps all day. He lives for rubs, like he owns his bodega.
What he does is he comes and sits here all night when there's no one. So when I come open the store, he's like sitting here, thinking that he's taking care of everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
keeping an eye on
yeah,
the place.
keeping an eye on everything. So whenever I come in the morning, he's just sitting here and looking around if everything is okay.
He's kind of like the night manager.
Yeah, something like that.
But Tiger isn't the only working cat to make it big online. Leo, a working cat in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, has become something of a superstar, thanks to a customer who helped him go viral after seeing him patrol the aisles of the local Home Depot.
I could not find Leo anywhere, and he's in the birdseed stuff. Mr. Leo, you're so good at disguising yourself.
But the cat with the best gig can be found in Midtown Manhattan, lounging at the front desk of the Algonquin Hotel.
One day, it was a winter day, and this little orange kitten made its way into the lobby of the Algonquin, and the hotel guests, they loved it. They loved having a cat in the hotel. Well, this cat went on to become the official Algonquin cat. This cat was unbelievable. He had his own bar stool, and he would sit up on the bar, and they would put little champagne glasses, and they would fill it up with milk, and he'd sit up on the bar, and he was good friends with the bartender, and so he'd have his milk. And everybody, all the men in the bar, they knew, don't sit on the cat's chair. And so ever since that period, so that was around 1930, the Algonquin has always had a cat. I think they've had, I don't know, at least a dozen cats, so their latest one now is Hamlet.
If you get to see Hamlet, we tell our guys it's going to be a good day because he is our lucky orange cat. The first cat came on property as a stray, and ever since then we've worked with the Bodega Foundation for rescue male and female cats. Male ones being Hamlets and the female ones being Matildas. So we're currently on Hamlet the 8th, which means before him there were 7 other Hamlets, and then we've also had 3 Matildas. So that roughly puts us around 11 cats.
Over the years, the popularity of the Algonquin cat has grown. Hamlet VIII now enjoys the company of his very own assistant and a freshly furnished cat nook.
Being the chief cat officer just means making sure he has ample amount of food, just kind of take him to the vet, get his shots, normal cat dad things. Hamlet is not a lab cat. I'm not sure what kind of life he had before us having and adopting him here. However, he is very friendly, he loves pets, and he's adventurous. We've caught him in areas where he's not supposed to be, and we kind of have to politely usher him back into Hamlet's residence. His favorite activity is just to nap in the window and kind of people watch as, the guests or just New Yorkers walk by. There's not one thing that I dislike about Hamlet, and when I do work the desk, he'll jump on the counter and kind of just sit there next to me and watch me work. So it's nice to have a feline friend at work. Besides eating, sleeping, and being cute, most of the time, Hamlet we say this is his hotel and we're just in it.
While working cats have always been around, they're regaining popularity among businesses looking to control pests and rescues looking to find safe spaces for cats. Working cats are typically feral or semi-feral cats that would not do well in a typical family home. Placing cats within a business allows pest control for the company and a reliable shelter for the cat. Piper is the newest employee at the 18th Ward Brewery in Brooklyn.
She's caught a couple, and that's fun. For her, not for anybody who has the disenjoyment of, taking care of her aftermath. but she has been effective, and so we're very excited about her progress, and also just excited about her in general, because this is her in a nutshell. She is just a ham sandwich.
Piper came to work at 18th Ward Brewery in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, thanks to Sheila, the founder of Hard Hat Cats.
The main reason I started Hard Hat Cats was to take unadoptable feral cats from the New York City shelter system. And these cats generally don't get adopted. So that was my primary goal. And then the secondary goal of Hard Hat Cats is really to use less and less poison. This is a sustainable, non-toxic method of rodent control for businesses.
Contrary to popular belief, cats aren't in shops to actually catch or kill the rodents.
It's not about hunger, and it's not about killing and eating rodents. The thing is, you bring in a cat, and the cat establishes its territory. It marks its territory, it leaves its scent, and the rodents get the memo and they take off.
You know, we were having a couple issues, some vermin coming in. We've never had a problem before, and we've been here 5 years, so we don't know how it happened. Sheila had reached out to us a year or two ago about possibly bringing a cat to us, and so we were talking about it, and I just was like, oh yeah, we can just contact Sheila. And sure enough, she was like, yeah, I got a cat for you.
Hello, you. Hello, you. Who's a good girl? So here we have Piper, and Piper is the cat anomaly because she's so people-friendly. But the brewery agreed to take her anyway, even though she's not a people hater.
As long as we're not open for business, she has the run of the place. So she ends up spending a lot of time with Sal, our brewer, and then inevitably, you know, like the team when they're around. And she's just the friendliest thing with everybody, like literally everybody. And she's like a spry little cat too, so she's always chasing stuff around. She's a personality.
Since starting Hard Hat Cats in 2019, Sheila has placed over 50 cats in the tri-state area, all with different backgrounds and personalities. At Kings County Distillery, the cats are a bit more reserved.
In the case of Harold and Maud here at the distillery, that's something different. Maud came from a hoarding situation, so she was feral because hoarders, by and large, they collect cats, but they don't take the time to socialize them. She was feral, but she had always been indoors. Harold was obviously a house cat that was abandoned. He was found taped up in a box outdoors, and he was traumatized and frantic, and he acted very hissy and bitey in the shelter, so they couldn't recommend him for a home, like a family with kids, but obviously he had been an indoor cat. So here were two cats that were used to being indoors, and that's what we wanted for a place like a distillery.
Previously, we had some issues with like inventory essentially being ruined and having to be thrown out. But since we've had the cats, we haven't had any of those types of issues at all. So it's been a huge improvement for us. And then I think also just like having the cats around is really good for, you know, myself and the rest of the employees, just because it's really nice to come into work every day and have them be here to hang out with.
It's ended up that the cats have really improved employee morale. I hear that all the time. I wasn't anticipating that. The employees fall in love with the cats, and the customers adore the cats. You know, you get customers that they come and they want to see the cat, or they want to do a tour of the brewery or the distillery. Oh, but we want to see the cats.
From bodegas to bookstores to distilleries and breweries across the country, these cats are hard at work. But finding the right cats for employment isn't always easy. That's where Stephen Quant comes in.
You want to say hello? What if we say hi? I know. I have treats. Yes, because why do I have treats? Because I always carry treats. I know. My name is Stephen Quant. I'm a feline behavior specialist, and that means I work with the cats behaviorally, and sometimes with the public and with staff. I've been a cat person for a very long time, not forever, but for a very long time, and I am crazy about cats. I adore them, and working with them and watching them grow and become happy and well-adjusted is what I live for.
As a behavior specialist for Animal Care Centers of New York, Stephen helps cats adjust to life in the shelter and beyond. However, that's not always possible.
If we have a cat who appears to be fundamentally under-socialized, it's not that they're just nervous coming in. They didn't receive enough human contact as a kitten and may never socialize. And some of those cats are suitable to go to a job. And then sometimes they even thrive in that location.
It's been amazing to me how they adapt to the different environments, especially small manufacturing. I really never conceived that the cats would do so well in a brewery or a distillery with a manufacturing process, but they just adapt amazingly well. A lot of them, having come from traumatic situations and from the shelter, once you leave them alone and let them live their independent lives where they're safe, they have a roof, they're fed every day. Actually, they get a lot of TLC, they get doted on. A lot of them start warming up to people.
Coming up, what happens to cats that are not suited to work or adoption?
Adopting a pet from a shelter is fantastic, but it doesn't prevent more pets from showing up at the shelter. Trap, neuter, return is one of the most humane and effective tools that we have to address the cat overpopulation crisis in New York and abroad.
They can be found in bodegas, breweries, distilleries, hotels, and even your local Home Depot. And while working cats are growing in popularity, not all are suited for a job. Luckily, rescue groups throughout the tri-state and beyond are working to find the right fit for each feline. For those who enjoy life alongside humans, there's adoption.
We in the behavior department, we give them a behavior grade which helps determine where they should go in terms of a home that has no experience at all with cats because this cat is super easy, level 1, or it's a cat that needs someone who has a lot of experience. Because what we're ultimately trying to do not only is to help the cat feel good and help the adopter feel good, we don't want the cat coming back because we did a poor match.
New York City is full of cats with an estimated 500,000 kept as pets, and anywhere from 500,000 to 1 million cats living on the streets. For the feral cats who aren't suited to be adopted or take on employment, rescuers utilize a strategy known as trap, neuter, return in an attempt to control the ever-growing population.
Trap, neuter, return is one of the most humane and effective tools that we have to address the cat overpopulation crisis in New York and abroad. TNR, as it's called, is specifically for feral cats. Those are unsocialized cats that are afraid of people, don't want to be around people. And so trap, neuter, return is the process of humanely trapping them, bringing them in for basic veterinary care, including spay or neuter, then returning them back to their outdoor environment.
Will Zeger is the founder and executive director of Flatbush Cats, which aims to reduce the outdoor cat population in Brooklyn.
Adopting a pet from a shelter is fantastic, but it doesn't prevent more pets from showing up at the shelter. To do that, we have to fund spay neuter and actually make veterinary care accessible and affordable for all of our neighbors. That actually prevents more animals from showing up at the shelter.
From early settlements to the streets of the city, cats have always found their way into the homes and hearts of humans across the globe.
You know, in the early 1900s, all of the different shops had cats, and these cats often made the news. Now today, it's really the same thing where you have these Bodega cats or you have other famous cats. They have their own websites now, they have their own Facebook pages. They're just as popular now as they were in the earlier days. People loved cats, they loved cat stories because people ate it up just as they do today.
From the local brewery to the foot of your bed, cats have had no problem making themselves at home.
There's like a tranquility to cats that New Yorkers are craving, right? Like it's a nice contrast between their busy lives and, you know, getting to go home and pet your cat. It's a nice reminder to be zen, you know?
To come home after a day at work and sit down and have a cat sit in your lap and just purr and kind of knead like that, how wonderful is that?
Just like their human counterparts, cats have proven to be resilient, a little stubborn, and very independent.
They've got their own personality. I think the most important thing to a cat is not to be cold and independent, it's to be autonomous. They have a sense of autonomy, who they are. what they want to do. So I think you end up having to respect a cat, because I tell you, they're never going to be a hypocrite. If they don't feel like something, they aren't going to act like it.
I love that cats are a little bit of an enigma. Even though they are reliant on us in many ways, they're also fiercely independent. They have their own personality, their own will, and they basically make their own schedule. They can't be trained very easily. They won't be told what to do. And we are really kind of serving them.